Okay, I am wondering if I did not just do my whole intro um, with my volume muted because that would have been bad. Um, sorry. So I ran a little bit in case I was muted. We're going to start over. Welcome to my stream. This is Courtroom Drama. We are in the process of watching Florida versus George Pino and um, I think it was homicide. Uh, Vessel homicide, a boat crash that killed a young lady named Lucy and severely injured another young lady. I think they were both 17 at the time. Severely injured Katie. And this today is day 4. I'm running a bit late. I told y'all we would get started about 9 or 10 o'clock this morning. However, late last night remembered that um, I had an appointment with my accountant. So um, that is why we're starting late. We will try to get through day 4, but um, it may be a long stream, a late night. So buckle up. The judge has just gotten on the bench, and this is where we're going to start today. So welcome. Please like and subscribe. Um, Comment in the live chat so that I know that you're here and I can say hi. Um, so And let me know what y'all think. So far, I'm not convinced. There is still reasonable doubt. We'll see if the state can rein that in. So we'll get started.
That works. Okay. Yeah, it was cute. I did. I thought.
I know by skimming to the start of the judge getting on the bench, I do know that there's going to be some remarks made. We'll just see. Um, so bear with it. It will get better.
Right? Okay. You found something. I remember saying that too. That's my problem. That's my problem. Because I had this, because I was going to bring the jury in, open up a regular session. That's what we're doing.
The only reason we're listening to this is I want to make sure that it's put on the record before we get started.
I had this your last night. Counterparts information. You want to send them a message? So anyway. Text to the prosecutor. Find out where they are. So. Thank you. So what's going on? Huh? It's not until Monday. Yeah. Because we're all meeting together.
I'm the only one that's gonna go from the defense team.
That's fine.
Just me alone.
Okay, but, you know, we're gonna be parking the cars.
You told me it's gonna be on that, 1 block north of the parking lot. I know where it is, the back door of the courthouse.
Yeah, were the jails on the other side?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So we just gather there. Yeah, where do you go? And there's
I
one.
wonder if Court TV realizes the mics are on. Do we need closed caption?
Okay, he probably controllable.
Let's see if the closed caption picks anything up. I'm drama, so oh, closed captions is one. I guess it's not picking it up all of it. Let's see if we can scooch a little bit, get past some of this.
Good morning, Laura Adams, Jonathan Borst.
Okay. I'm gonna mute while I eat my lunch. Picked up a salad. Um, So, well, it sounded like they were getting started. We'll find out for sure.
I'm ready. State of Florida, V George Pino, Florida's announced.
Good morning, Laura Adams, Jonathan Borst on behalf of the state.
Good morning, Judge. On behalf of George Pino, who's present, Howard Strebnick, I'm alone today.
Judge, I was contacted by FWC and advised that there are a number of media people at the site where we're going to view the vessel. What they wanted to know is, would Your Honor give them a directive to advise the media that they'll be happy to open the doors up for the media to look at the vessel after the jury view, but they want to make sure that the jurors are not, photographed or videotaped. And so I said, let me double check with the judge. I think she will give a directive through me that I can convey to them so that they can in turn say to the jury, this is what the judge wants.
That directive should have already been.
I wonder if we're going to get to see what this boat looks like. I don't know.
Given.
Okay.
Because it's been in the works for a week, and I said, there's remedial rules that they have to follow, but I'm going to get in contact with Eunice right now, Eunice Salem.
Your Honor, I was speaking with Eunice last night, and she sent out an email either late last night or this morning to all the media outlets, giving them specific directives as to this trip is no different than any other court proceeding, and the decorum and the rules are applicable there as they are here. That they're not to contact any of try to make contact with any jurors. There's no statements, there's no interviews. This is purely.
You're going to be very insulated,
Yeah.
because the way it's set up is a gate, it's a locking, and from my instructions, they're not permitted past that locking.
No. Yeah. According to the FWC,
once the gate is open, only the small group are going to be permitted to actually drive through the gate. And it's not a quarter mile, it's like it's actually paved. And then I guess you go, what happens after that is you go down another road to get to a clear area where the road is. I didn't do that part though. I suspect that that's how it's set up. But nobody's coming past that gate, but the people in the caravan of vehicles are going. That's it. That was the direction. And so then we'll be able to see jurors getting in and out of that van as far as I understand.
and according to the FWC, the boat is nowhere near.
It's not.
It's not.
Because I couldn't see it
Yeah.
when I pulled up, so it's not there. No one's getting to the gate. Jurors and us. That's it. Okay. So,
I assume there'll be no drones.
no, there's not going to be any. We did this years ago, it was helicopter, it was anything else. We're not doing that. I told them we're not doing that, if I see it.
It was reiterated in the email yesterday that, what they're allowed is one pole camera, one still photography camera.
Yeah, no, I mean, after the fact, I don't have any issues with media. They want access to take any more pictures, and there's a lot of pictures anyway. What else do you want to say about it? That's it. This is a courtroom. This is the courtroom moving to that location. And as soon as I get the jurors in there, we'll give them instructions and everyone will understand this. We're not going to be anywhere near the jurors either. We're going to be able to communicate with them. They're going to get all the instructions from me right now.
Will the jurors be able to observe any of us?
Yes, they will be able to observe us. We're going to be at a distance. I guess they'll have an area where there'll be maybe a couple of seats for us, just to sit while they go about their business. And I'll set a time limit on it and figure out what I have to do to get there home. that review, and I would apologize, the jury, probably about 30 minutes. I think that should be a sufficient period of time.
Any shade where we're gonna be sitting, Judge?
That I don't know. But,
Bring an
do you have an
umbrella?
umbrella?
I did.
If you bring an umbrella, you can hold an umbrella.
Are you gonna wear your robe?
I have to, I think.
Wow.
So I can get it comfortable, like, very hot. It's really hot out right now, so it's gonna be really hot.
Judge, may I inquire,
So,
who among us is going? I assume the two prosecutors, and that's it for the prosecution team? It'll just be me, myself. And I thought you'd asked yesterday about what to explain to the jury, and I thought just to say that because it's call it a field trip, it's gonna be a limited number of people going, Mr. Srebnick, Ms. Adams, Mr. Borscht, and that's it. That way they don't highlight.
then anyone else is not there.
Right, so Mr. Pino won't be there, Mr. Shapiro won't be there, there's a whole bunch of people not going, and it'll just make Mr. Pino be invisible.
It's very restricted, and the purpose is basically just for the jury to see the vessel, have an opportunity to spend.
We may actually get caught up because there is no notebooks on the desks. There's nobody in the audience. So they may be doing this field trip to the boat this morning, and then we'll get testimony. So we'll see how much there is today. At least we can scrub through it and zoom past all of it, hopefully.
Time walking there, they'll be able to take notes, they can't speak with each other, they can't speak to anyone else. Now, there'll be directions, for example, if someone wanted to enter the boat, as we were talking about yesterday, there'll be, I think the FWC view of the investigators, or I don't know, it's not, it's just gonna be Thompson, I think, right? I'm not sure who's gonna be there. He has probably a few people there that would assist them if they wanted to, lift up and actually look inside.
Are we ready?
I think we are.
Yes.
All right, let's go to the thank you.
All right.
All right, everyone be seated, thank you, just a minute. Sorry.
Good morning.
How are you all doing today? You or in your presence about this case?
No.
Have you done any research or investigation?
No.
See anything in the news about the case?
No.
Read anything in the newspaper?
No.
Television?
No.
Social media?
No.
So we're recreating, cannot bring the best.
Court TV seems to be having problems today. Hopefully it's them and not me. So we'll see.
Here to put it in front of you as evidence. So we're taking you to that to view the evidence, but we're conducting a court. but at another location. Now, in conducting court, I'm going to give you some instructions, and Renee is going to assisting everyone, but just like any court, even not in court, the purpose of this is for you, again, to just view the evidence. You have your notepads with you. You took extra pen in case the pen, anyone's pen. Opportunity to walk around. I'll set probably for, again, you, each one of you. It's not a group. Or whatever information you think might be helpful to you. And you're committed to take notes. Okay. You're going to speak with Renee, not in front of any of the other jurors, just like you would anyway. Okay. But you're not there for any other purpose other than to be able to see the evidence. Okay. There's not going to be anyone's going to speak with you. We're going to be, and it's going to be actually just a limited number of people going, because this is for you to go. I need to be there. I'm going to bring Vanessa, the court reporter. Okay. Or the defense's Shrednick is going to be the representative of the defense. And prosecutors.
It looks like it's my feed that is messing up. Um, so what I'm going to do when they close, shut the cameras off for their viewing and stuff, I will refresh my tab. So we'll work through it until then. It shouldn't be long. We may have to refresh it now. Give me just a second.
Okay. Don't, it needs to be limited, so I've restricted that, so because other people aren't attending or because Mr. Pino's not attending, please don't run inferences from that. We need to keep this as a very small group. And I think that's pretty much it. There'll be individuals from Florida, from the Wildlife Commission, they're going to be there. I think they're going to have the ability to assist if anyone wishes to actually get into the vessel. There'll be a way to do that. I don't know if they use a ramp. I'm not sure what the setup is, but I believe those arrangements have been made for you if you wish to actually go inside the vessel too. So you're not to touch anything, okay? For your information and for your ability to view the evidence. So I think 30 minutes will probably be more than enough time. I'm not sure if it's shaded at all. So I think 30 minutes will be more than enough time for you to have that opportunity. Okay, we're going to take you now downstairs. You're going to be escorted. Renee's going to take you. We have a van that is, I think it's a 14-person van.
Yes, sir.
And our sergeant here is going to be the driver of the van. And you're going to be escorted with a police escort. So, and we're going to be caravanning. There'll be only, I think, 3 other vehicles within the escort group. And probably will take about 35, 40 minutes to arrive at the location. I'll have some ice water for you in the van as well. And if you had, I don't think you're going to need an umbrella unless you think you want it for some shade. I'm not sure again if it's shade. I imagine some shade area, but I'm not sure if the road is the shade area.
It sounds like it's going to be about an hour and a half to 2 hours that we'll be able to hopefully scrub through.
I'm just not sure about that. Okay. So, Renee, you can go ahead then, you take the jury.
Okay, do they? It doesn't look like.
I'm ready. You ready to roll?
Okay, so let me refresh this screen. Where are we at? Okay. See if we can get a better.
Thank you, Judge.
Better connection. Hang on. Okay, so we'll go back here. Okay. See, give me just a second. We're going to stop sharing the screen and see if we can find the spot where they returned. Well, they were gone a long time. Is this accurate? Okay. Oh, okay. Looks like we're back from the viewing. So let's share the screen again. With these long strings, it's hard to pinpoint where it needs to be. Ah, they're going back. We'll have volume here in a minute. What do y'all think about this so far? Her lips are moving, but there's no. Quad TV hasn't turned the sound back on yet. Looks like we got 2 viewers on Rumble. Hi there, Rumble people. Oh, they turned the sound on, so maybe they'll get me. Well, maybe not. Who knows? I don't know what Quad TV's doing. I guess we're gonna sit here and watch the judge.
Asking your session, State Florida George Pino. I'm going to ask the parties please to announce.
Good afternoon, Laura Adams, Jonathan Forst on behalf of the state of Florida.
On behalf of George Pino, who is present, Howard Serebnik, Mark Shapiro, Eva Moreno, and Janelle Gomez.
Very well. And Ms. Pino, would you say the same, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may have a seat, sir.
Thank you.
Very well.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Okay. We're getting
All right.
started.
So, I'm checking with Renee, I think all the jurors are back, um, from lunch. And just as a recap, we conducted the jury review.
Having trouble hearing you, Judge.
Okay, how's that?
Better, thank you.
I don't know, I asked for a longer microphone and I got a really long microphone, but. All right,
Sound check.
is that better?
A little bit.
Okay. We went on our jury view. The jurors arrived by van at 10:35, and we departed at 10:52. And everything, there were no issues. There were, one matter we did put on the record while we were there, and that was with regard to allowing,
Lieutenant Thompson?
Lieutenant Thompson to point out and just stand and point to two specific areas on the vessel that had green marking. And that was done, again, we discussed it first, Vanessa was with us, we put it on the record without objection. There were no statements made, no comments made, no testimony, and then the jurors went about their business without discussions. So, double checking, I haven't heard back from Renee. Let me ask, is there anything I need to address before I bring the jury in?
We don't know who the witnesses are yet.
Oh, okay, who's the first witness for the afternoon?
It's Pomaris, Judge, Manny Pomaris from FWC.
Is he the only one today? Are there other?
I don't know who the Lord is calling.
Lieutenant Kamaris from FWC.
FWC,
Okay.
FWC, Judge, yes.
All right.
Until I see them, I'll see them first.
You double check? Thank you.
Come on, people, get it together.
Outside of this courtroom. Very well. We are ready to proceed. State and call your next witness.
Yes, Judge, the state calls Manuel Pomaris.
Let's see who this is. The closed caption is behind, but I don't know how to fix that. So,
Sir, please step forward, face the clerk, raise your right hand to be sworn.
You solemnly swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and
oh, it
nothing
looks
but the
like
truth.
I do.
You may have a seat, sir.
I wonder if he's with the Fish and Wildlife Conservation. people not mute their phones? Like seriously.
Sir, if you keep your voice up, the microphone is in one direction and the jury is in another. So even if you're yelling on each side of this, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
May I proceed, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Can you please introduce yourself to the members of our jury?
My name is Manuel Pomares. I'm a lieutenant with Florida Fish and Wildlife.
So, yeah,
Florida
he's with
Fish and Wildlife, did you all just host some guests today?
Yes, we did.
Did you see some of them here in the courtroom?
Yes, I do.
Was that to see a vessel, a crashed vessel?
Correct.
The vessel, were you part of the recovery?
I was part of the recovery of the vessel.
I
So
wonder if
let's
we're gonna have
talk about
video
how that
of
happened and the information that you have. Were you working on the day of the crash, September 4th, 2022?
I was not working that day when the event occurred. I was notified afterwards.
How did you learn about the crash?
I believe I was called either to my personal phone or my work phone, notified, and then I would have come out shortly after that on the clock and responding to phone calls and trying to gather information and see what needed to be done at that point.
Where did you respond?
Initially, I was just on the phone gathering information because I didn't know where to go until more information started coming in. The location of the accident was Cutter Bank, which is a remote area that even if I left right away, I wouldn't have been able to go to. So it was more beneficial for me to get additional information and see what was needed before I left and responded somewhere.
So where did you drive to?
Initially, I just stayed at the house making phone calls, coordinating. Eventually,
So I'm guessing he didn't find it important enough to go to the accident scene the day up. Okay, gotcha.
I ended up, I believe I went to Walmart and bought water, and I believe one of my counterparts bought food because at that point in the evening, we had to keep officers keeping watch on the vessel because the vessel was overturned in Cutter Bank, adjacent marker 15, and we knew we weren't going to be able to recover it that day. So we needed to maintain custody of the vessel and have somebody watching it overnight. So we had to make
Okay,
arrangements.
let me stop.
Sorry.
We're gonna go slow. You're talking fast, but we're gonna go slow, okay?
Got it.
All right, so you go to,
Watch his eyes. He keeps looking up and to, I guess, to his left. Um, I don't know.
Walmart.
Correct.
Why did you go to Walmart for supplies?
Went to Walmart to get supplies, water and drinks for our officers.
And then after you get the waters and drinks and food, do you go to Black Point Marina or where do you go to?
We responded
So Walmart Run was okay.
to Black Point Marina, and I arrived there as the fire boat was arriving with victims that had not been transported because they weren't as severely injured as the ones that had been airlifted.
Okay, so at this point, it's dark outside, it's nighttime?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, as a lieutenant, can you tell me what your responsibilities are?
Okay. I'm an investigative lieutenant. I was an investigative lieutenant at that time, and part of my responsibilities are to
Okay, so this person here is doing all that paper shuffling and stapling. I wish there was like a mic or something that could be turned off while she's doing that, because to me that's annoying.
provide the investigator, the lead investigator, with any assets he may need, assist him in any way that I can. Due to the remote area, the accident happened in southern Miami-Dade, almost northern Monroe County. So me getting there wasn't practical. I wasn't going to make it there in any time to be of use to my team.
Now, the lead investigator in this case, Lieutenant Thompson, at the time he wasn't a lieutenant, did you oversee him or is that a different lieutenant?
He was supervised by a different lieutenant. His name is Lieutenant Daniel Miranda. On that evening, I believe Lieutenant Miranda was not available for one reason or another, and I was the one who initially responded that evening and helped out and supported Investigator Thompson.
Okay. So you mentioned that you saw some of the less injured passengers. Did you specifically interact with them at Flag Point Marina?
No, I did not.
Okay.
They were coming off the vessels, going to their family members, and I did not impede in that or stop or take any action in that aspect.
So the next day, September 5th, what are your duties? What are your assignments on that day?
So I was also part of the dive team. So part of our duties was to document the scene or the crash site. We had come up with a game plan to respond out there on one of our patrol vessels. 3 members of the dive team, I believe it was Officer Saavedra, Oscar Saavedra, Lieutenant Ryan Smith, and myself were dive team members. And there was an officer, I don't recall at this point, that was driving the vessel, shuttling us around.
All right. So how do you become part of the dive team? Do you have to be trained and certified?
You have to have certification first, and then you have to go through an interview process and be selected.
Did you receive all of the necessary training and certifications to become part of the dive team?
Yes.
And just as an aside, how long have you been with the Florida Fish and Wildlife?
I'm in my 29th year. Formerly, the agency was called Florida Marine Patrol. In 1999, 2000, the voters of Florida decided to merge the Florida Marine Patrol with the Game and Fish Commission, and now we are the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC for short.
So do you have a long or many years of experience diving?
Yes.
So in preparation for a dive, I imagine you have to put on.
Is anybody else distracted by what she's doing here? Because, yeah, I can't focus on him and the attorney with all this going on. Not sure if anybody else has that problem, but
On a suit, or what do you wear?
In this case, we didn't have to put on a suit because there wasn't contaminants. We have to put on dive gear, which is a BC, a dive tank, regulators. So all that had to be loaded on the boat because obviously it was far away from the mainland.
So let's break that down. Can you explain what that equipment that you just referred to is and how it assists you?
Absolutely. So it's scuba gear, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So it's basically a BCD, a buoyancy control device that inflates to help you control buoyancy. Okay.
so everybody meet Patio. If anybody has cats, you know that you can't really control them. They demand when they want to be petted, not when you want to, or at the most convenient time. So say hi to Patio.
You need to put that on. Behind that, that holds a dive tank, which has your air supply. And then you have regulators that bring the pressure down from what's in the tank to something you can actually breathe, to be able to breathe underwater. So,
And do you have to regularly receive additional training, either yearly or anything like that?
yes, we typically try to do it monthly at minimum. Sometimes we don't because there's call outs and other situations where we dive more often than that. So it all depends on what is occurring in the field.
So where do you leave to do the dive? Where do you leave from?
I believe we left from Coconut Grove and loaded on my patrol vessel in Coconut Grove and responded from there.
And, we've heard
What's
testimony
Coconut
about
Grove?
Cutter Bank. Did you know where in Cutter Bank the
Let's
wrecked vessel was?
Yes.
And I think earlier you mentioned that FWC, did they make arrangements for there to be somebody who had eyes on the wrecked vessel from the time they learned of it to the time you got there?
Correct.
And why was that important to sort of have a babysitter for the crashed boat?
It's important to maintain chain of custody, make sure nobody messed with the vessel or took anything from the vessel. It could have also been a navigation hazard. People that navigate that area might not know it was there, especially at dark, and somebody could have run into it.
So was that a priority for FWC to make sure that happened?
Absolutely.
Okay. So when you arrive at the area of the crash site, what do you see?
There's an FWC vessel. There's also Miami-Dade vessels because Miami-Dade was assisting us with their dive team to facilitate being more efficient.
And is that common that Miami-Dade would assist FWC in a dive like this?
Yes, multi-agencies come together to help in situations like this, whether it's a crash or a significant event. We often work together.
I don't know.
Okay. So had you been to Cutter Bank before?
Yes, I've patrolled Cutter Bank before.
All right. And I know the jury has heard this description a few times, but can you just briefly describe what Cutter Bank looks like and the markings?
So Cutter Bank is a narrow channel. I describe it best as a funnel. If you're looking at Biscayne Bay is very wide north of that point. So the channel markers are spread apart and you have deeper water. So navigation north of Cutter Bank is more lax, if I could describe it that way. You're not as worried about running aground or having to go exactly in the markers. When you get to Cutter Bank, if you think of it as a funnel, you've got to go through this corridor where you have flats, very shallow water on both sides. So you really have to pay attention when you're going down or through Cutter Bank.
So you mentioned earlier that as part of the dive, there was going to be an effort to recover items underwater?
Correct.
Did you also document the scene with photographs?
Yes.
All right.
So you have to have life vests on scene. I wonder where those end up. Maybe he'll tell us where those ended up at.
Did you document the area of the boat crash as well as the nearby channel marker?
Yes.
Was there a Dayglow 15 marker at the top of the pillar when you got there?
No, the day boards, which would have been number 15, it's a green square, and there should have been 2 of them on the top of the marker so that if you're navigating from north to south, you could see one, and it tells you the east side of the channel. And then if you're navigating from south to north, you would see the opposite one as you're traveling northbound, and it'll let you know the east side of the channel.
Okay. I'm showing the
So what
defense
happened?
2N and 2Z for identification, if they could.
Yesterday we looked at this marker 15 pictures, and he's saying that the 15 wasn't on there when he got there. Let's see if I can pull up an image real quick. Okay. Oh, well, I did have it, but apparently you gotta pay. Hang on, let me see if I can find a different one. Oh wait, did I? I think I screenshotted it. Hang on a second. Um, let me. I hit the wrong button. Give me just a second. I hate not being able to find stuff. All right, we'll keep watching, and I'll look for that.
Take a look. Okay. Sir, I'm going to be showing you some photos. I'll kind of pass through them, take a look. And when I'm done, let me know if they fairly and accurately reflect what you saw when you arrived that morning, okay?
Okay.
Do they?
Yes, and I arrived, I believe, around noon or shortly after noon, just to clarify.
Your Honor, I ask that 2N through 2Z be introduced into evidence.
No objection.
Thank you.
State Exhibit 2N, previously marked identification, will become State Exhibit number 25.
I'm sorry, did you see?
2N will become State Exhibit number 25.
Thank you.
You're welcome. 2O, 26. 2P, 27. 2Q, 28.
Okay.
2R,
So-
29.
I'm gonna pull up the picture.
2S, 30. 2T, 31. 2U, 32.
And we're going to.
2V, 33.
Oops, hang on. Pause that for a second. So the marker is okay, so this is the channel marker 15. So earlier, I think he said that the 15 was gone. This 15 up here was gone. Okay, let's go back. Let's stop sharing that screen and go back to this with audio share. Okay. And maybe we'll get to see these pictures.
2W, 34. 2X, 35. 2Y, 36. And 2Z, 37.
Thank you, Madam. May I approach the witness, Judge? All right, Lieutenant, I'm just going to show you these in groups. So I'm going to show you 25, 26, 27, and 28. Do these all show the perspective that you had of the capsized boat in relation to the pylon?
Yes, they do.
And are these photos, were they taken by you yourself?
Yes.
All right, may I publish these, Judge?
Yes.
I wish they put it on the TV
And
screen
these
so we could
photos
see it.
offer different perspectives on the scene?
That's my question?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the perspective, looking from the marker in a southeasterly direction. You could see what would be Key Largo and Pumpkin Key in the background, in the horizon.
Are you able to approximate the distance of the capsized boat to the pylon?
It was several hundred yards. I don't remember the exact, if we have an exact distance. I believe
Come on, camera. I want to see these pictures.
on one of the images, there could possibly be a distance on a Google Earth image.
All right, and now I'm also showing you dates 29 through 37. Are these various perspectives of the piling?
Yes,
And what is this made of?
the piling is a steel pipe. If you can picture a telephone pole, except instead of wood, it's steel. It's a pipe and it's hollow in the center.
Does this go all the way to the seafloor?
Yes, that's hammered into the bottom, and that's what keeps it erect. Part of it is under the ground. Then you got what's not visible, that's below the water to the ground, and then you have what remains above the water line.
And who installs these?
That would have been probably Coast Guard because it's a intercoastal waterway channel marker.
There's sort of like a whiteness at the top of it. What is that?
That is the feces of birds water birds that land on the top of the
You
marker.
could say bird poop if you want.
I was trying to be more professional, but that is, the birds land on there, they go to the bathroom, and it ends up making those marks on the piling.
And I should ask you, what is supposed to be on top of this?
On top of that, if you look at look at them?
Yeah.
If you look at the markers, you'll see there's like a rectangle in the middle of the feces, and that would be where there would be a day board flush against one side of the piling, and then if you look on the south coming north, you would see the same thing. The best I could describe it is a rectangle where there's no feces, and that's where the day board would be. That's why there's no feces there.
So basically,
there's no white.
There's gonna be a day board on one side, a day board on the other side, and the pylon in the middle.
Correct.
And how are the day boards connected to this?
There's bolts and brackets that basically, the day board is made out of wood, and in this case, because it's a green, it's a square, and they're bolted to each other, kind of sandwiching the two boards to the piling.
All right, may I publish some of these, Judge?
Yes.
All right, and there's a variety of perspectives.
Oh. I wonder if we could see these to see if that 15 is missing. Oh, it is.
The day
Show the
board markers, what are they made of?
They're typically made of plywood, and they have some kind of laminate adhesive sticker on the face of it that faces out from the marker. And that's typically has some kind of reflective material so that and when vessels navigating at night, the operator could see the markers and make it easier for them to identify the markers ahead.
What are the dimensions of the placard on, what are the dimensions?
I contacted the Coast Guard, and they advised me it would be 3 by 3 feet by 3
That's
feet.
hearsay.
And I brought a piece of cardboard.
Wait. I'm showing you.
What the Coast Guard told him and what he's relaying to the jurors is hearsay.
Pencil to mark for identification 3A through 3H. May I approach this? And kind of, I'm going to show you what's marked for identification 3A to 3H. Let me pass through them. And when I'm done, tell me if they fairly and accurately depict what you saw on this day. Okay, do they?
Yes, they do.
Judge, I'd ask that 3A through 3H be admitted into evidence.
State Exhibit 3A, previously marked identification, will become State Exhibit number 38. 3B, 39. 3C, 40. 3D, 41. 3E, 42. 3F, 43. 3G, 44. And 3H, 45.
All right, so Lieutenant, I'm going to ask, with the court's permission, if you could step down and help me publish some of these photos with the jury. So. What are we looking at in this photo? If you can just hold it up.
This is an image that I took. This is the vessel upside down. It's sitting on the bay. There's a shot of water at the top, which will be the roof. Is actually on the bottom, so it's sitting there. It's not floating. It's sitting on the bottom. The grass, it's difficult to see, but you can see the grassy bottom. So it's just sitting like it's sitting on somebody's front lawn upside down.
Right there. I'm showing you what is a 40. Does this show damage to the vessel?
Yes, it does.
Okay, can you show it first? And now that damage, what material is that?
This is fiberglass, which is and gel coat and paint that make up the hull or the underneath and side of the vessel. In this case, it's a little hollow That is the manufacturer, the same Ford and Nissan, were always the manufacturer of the vessel.
You got a seat. I'm just gonna publish now. All right, so we've gone over the documentation of the pylon, the capsized vessel. Do you then dive underwater to document the underwater scene?
Yes, I do.
So take me through that. What do you do? How do you go about doing this type of a dive?
So the divers were on this day were Lieutenant Smith and I.
Okay, so I can't really show this. Holy cow, that's a lot of damage. Let me see if I can get a screen grab. Hang on. I'm getting screen grabs of what the jury saw today. Okay.
And then we always leave a diver on the surface in case there's any kind of emergency. That person can immediately get in the water and render aid. So if there's an entanglement or air issue or some kind of emergency, unforeseen event, that officer is on the vessel paying attention to us, a diver, ready to go and enter the water if he needs us, if we need him.
Okay. And do you each take turns just diving right in?
No, we go in together, always go in 2 people minimum for safety. And then on that particular day, I was recording and taking pictures with a GoPro camera, underwater and above the water.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the GoPro camera. Is that something you're holding or is it on your person? How does that work?
It's a small camera that's in an underwater case, so it can be taken underwater, and I'm holding it. Prior to doing anything, I went around the vessel to get a 360 to see what was done or what was there before anything was touched. And I believe we did a second loop around the vessel to document everything before we touched any of the items that were on the vessel or around the vessel.
Now, when you went down to video record, do you do a 360 around the boat?
Yes.
And just before court started, were we watching videos of your recordings? Of the video recording?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And did they fairly and accurately reflect the video recordings on the date that we're talking about?
Yes. It would have been the day after the accident. The accident was September 4th. This would have been the following day on September 5th.
And I'm showing the defense. Oh, I'm sorry, Kate. Would you mind working this? Showing defense for R. Lieutenant, we, as I mentioned, we watched the video on the flash drive earlier today, and it fairly accurately depicted the recording that you did.
Okay, so we're gonna take a look at these pictures real quick. Let me stop sharing that one. Okay. This is the damage to the boat that the jurors saw today. It's one. And then we'll share this other one. And this is another picture. I grabbed these from NBC. That's a lot of damage. So that's what the jury saw today. Um, during their field trip, basically.
I would assume that that's the recording device that it was on.
That I just played for you.
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I asked that for RB admitted. No objection.
State Exhibit 4R, previously marked by indication, will become State Exhibit number 46.
Judge, may I publish states 46? And with the court's permission, Lieutenant, can you assist me with this?
Yes.
Do we have the?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
so
Yay.
I'm gonna sit. You stand right next to the screen. Sit. Yeah. I'm gonna take it. So the first file for the record is GOPR 1521. Okay, so I'm gonna pause the video here. What are, actually, it's kind of hard to see. So I don't know if it's a little bit hard to see on this screen, but what would you call this resting at the bottom?
This is the side of the center console or the T-top. The T-top will be the roof portion. The center console is the fiberglass cube with the steering and the screens are.
And so this T-top, is this where the captain of the vessel would be when they're operating?
It will be behind it, behind the steering wheel. It's hard to tell exactly in what direction that is steering.
All right, Lieutenant,
Okay,
what side of the
that's
boat
the
are we looking at
damage.
here?
Here you're looking at the vessel upside down. This should be the starboard side. You can see the
I thought it was
damage,
port side.
which is all on the starboard side.
But I don't know about it.
And right at the end of the video, so what is that we're looking at the back? Right here?
That is actually at the bow, that's the anchor at the very front of the vessel, and then a 360-degree over around the vessel and back at the front where I started.
Okay, so this is the front of the vessel.
Correct.
All right, keep standing, please. Now GOPR 1522, I'm gonna publish that for the record.
Does he go up in it? Okay, that looks a little.
Are you able to tell what that is, right here? And I'm pointing at the bottom of the screen.
This is a compartment that's on the side, a panel that's been dislodged due to the damage. It's in front of what is the console here. Since it's upside down, it will be on the side based on the angle in the picture. I'm making the video.
Damn.
So is this video sort of a closer perspective than the last video?
Correct. This one's more trying to get closer into the vessel. The other one was like further from the vessel itself.
I wouldn't like this job.
So right here, what are we looking at? It's hard to kind of see it on the screen, but
Again, the vessel's upside down. You're going to see the top, which is the T-top here. The underside of it, because the part that's normally up to the sky is sitting on the bay bottom, and everything has some grass where it's sitting on the grass.
Are you able to tell what area we're looking at here?
That's the helm area where the steering wheel would be, everything up right here. And then this is the console where all the electronics will be, the seat, and the leaning post area, or the backrest of the seat. The windshield's up here.
Where's the seats at?
Thank you.
So yeah, they just showed
All right,
the
so
videos.
you
of
mentioned earlier
underwater.
that some underwater photographs were also taken, correct?
Correct.
So I'm showing the defense has been marked 3I through 3R for identification purposes.
So about 10 photos.
May I approach, Judge?
Yes, sir.
3I through 3R.
I wonder
I'm
what
going to
George. This is George here. This is
go
the
through them
defendant.
with you. Please take a look.
I wonder what
And then when
he's
I'm
writing.
finished, I'm going to ask whether or not they fairly accurately depict what you saw underneath the water when you were diving. Did they?
Yes, they do.
Judge, I'd ask that 3I through 3R be admitted.
It sucks closed caption is
Sitting
so far
exhibit
behind,
3I,
but I don't
previously
want to
marked
turn it off
identification.
for the folks
Becomes
that
sitting
might need it.
exhibit number 47. 3J, 48. 3K, 49. 3L, 50. 3M, 51. 3N, 52. 3O, 53. 3P, 54. 3Q, 55. And 3R, 56.
Clerk. And Judge, same request if the witness can assist me in publishing.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so Lieutenant, these may actually be a little bit more visible than the video. Can we just go one by one and you sort of show the jury what are depicted in these photos?
Yes. In this image, you can see the T-top on the bottom of the bay. You can see the grass. Again, you're looking at the underneath. What's on the grass would normally be facing the sky. You can see a telephone right here, which is underneath of the T-top. This is the front windshield. We got a side windshield here and a side windshield here. The top of it would be the console and the compass there. That's pretty much the boat upside down from front to back.
Now, how about in states 48? What are we looking at here?
Can y'all see these pictures okay?
So again, this is the helm area. So now you're looking from what would be the seating or operating position. You got the steering wheel, you've got the throttles, which controls your hands. You got 2 GPS units right here. They're hard to see because they're dark right now. All the switches on the console. Again, the front windshield, side windshield, another side windshield from this side. And that's the panel that I was asked about before that have become dislodged, held in place by wiring. You can see these are battery switches. But obviously it's not in a normal position, it's just in dislodged.
Now, this is states 49. What are we looking at here?
This is in the front of the console. You can see the front seat here. This is the seat area. This is the backrest. You can see the port side.
I think this here is maybe where Lucy was sitting.
Which is not damaged. You can see light coming in through the starboard side due to the damage to the vessel, in the front windshield, side windshield. Pretty much.
Okay, and you could have a seat, Lieutenant. I'll finish publishing the rest of these.
Show the camera. Oh, go. See, I wish they would use the screen so we can see. These will probably go back with the jurors, so they'll get to see these better.
So
Yeah,
because the
illustration.
boat is upside down, Lieutenant, I guess a better way to see everything as what it really is to kind of flip the picture.
Correct. It would make it easier to see what you're looking at, but it's just turning the vessel upside down.
Now, when you're diving and recording the scene, are you simultaneously collecting things?
We wanted to document everything first, so the video is before anything was touched, both videos.
So after the scene is documented, do you then enter into, I guess, what we can call maybe recovery mode or something like that?
That is correct.
How do you and your partners collect evidence from the bottom of the ocean floor or the bay floor?
Fortunately, it wasn't very deep, maybe 6-7 feet, and we were able to grab stuff and then hand it up to the officer and the other diver that remained on the surface.
If you're a tall guy, how tall are you?
6'2".
Okay, if you stood on the floor of the bay, do you think you'd?
I don't think I could have been out of the water.
Okay. So who assisted you in recovering evidence?
Lieutenant Smith was the other diver, so either him or I would have grabbed whatever we recovered from around the vessel and underneath the vessel and handed it up to the remaining personnel on our FWC patrol vessel.
So are all of you sort of working together as a group?
We were as one group focused on the vessel. Then to make things simple, Miami-Dade's dive team was focused on the area of the channel marker and any evidence that was located in that vicinity.
How many times would you say, and you could estimate, how many times would you say that you dove down to the ship and started getting evidence? Was it like 10 times?
It's hard to say because we're on tanks. I might have been handing stuff to Lieutenant Smith and he was giving it back. You know, we try to do it in a systematic manner and work our way around the vessel so we don't miss something. So it's not a free diving where we're constantly going up and down. It's grab as much as you can.
I wonder if this is where they got all that
and then when we feel
alcohol
we need to stop,
bottles.
you know, I would stay where we were left off. He would hand stuff up, and then once he came back, we'd continue around the vessel.
Are you like collecting these items with your hands, or do you have a net? What does that look like?
I think it was mainly with our hands, depending on what we're diving for. In this case, I believe it was our hands. Maybe we had gloves on. I don't recall.
And then when items of evidence were recovered, what would you do with them?
We would hand them up to the officers or personnel on the vessel, and they would put them in the vessel.
Does FWC maintain custody of recovered evidence from the time it's grabbed by a diver to essentially today?
Yes.
And are records kept to make sure that there is what we call like a chain of custody from point A to point Z here in the courtroom?
Yes, property receipts, and every time they're handed off to the next person, it's logged.
So do you do anything else out on the water regarding evidence collection, setting aside the boat itself for right now?
I believe once we recovered everything we could from the vessel, I believe we got together with Miami-Dade's team who had recovered several pieces of evidence from around the marker. They gave it to us. We placed it on our vessel. We brought everything into, if I remember correctly, Convoy Point, which is a channel that you access by coming in through Homestead Bayfront Channel. Convoy Point is what is known as Biscayne National Park. It's
Okay, so he said that the marker, like from my understanding, the placard on the that had the number 15 on it for the channel marker was not on the pole when he got there. I wonder if that's part of the evidence they collected.
Their headquarters were their law enforcement docks, so it's a secured facility. We went there to unload everything that we had recovered to give it to one of the officers to relay, to our office.
And the items of evidence that were collected during the dive, do you also photograph them?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I'm showing the defense what has been marked for identification purposes as 4I through 4Q.
There's no additional objections, preserving a prior objection you did.
All right, so this is 4I through 4Q, Lieutenant. I'm going to scroll through just like I did before. And when I'm finished, can you just let me know if it fairly and accurately reflects the items of evidence that you and your partners collected on September 5th, 2022? Does it?
I wonder what
Yes,
the
they do.
defense's
Again,
objections
some of them were
were.
collected by Miami-Dade,
For.
and some of them,
I haven't read through the court documents because I want to see from the perspective of a juror. So I haven't read through, so I don't know what their objections were. Maybe I don't know.
were collected by us on the vessel or underneath the vessel.
Judge, I'd ask that all of these items 4I through 4Q be admitted into evidence, please.
State Exhibit 4I, previously marked by identification, will become State Exhibit number 57. 4J, 58. 4K, 59. 4L, 60. 4M, 61. 4N, 62. 4O, 63. 4P, 64. And 4Q, 65.
May I put the Judge? So, Lieutenant, I'm showing you first States 57 as well as States 58. Are these sort of overviews of all of the items that were collected?
These are the overview of the items collected from the vessel and surrounding areas of the vessel.
Okay. And actually, before I ask to publish, what are some of the items that were collected and are documented in this photo?
Starting from left, there's some clothing. There's 8 phones, a pair of glasses, miscellaneous. There's a couple pairs of glasses. There's miscellaneous fiberglass pieces from the vessel. Looks like a portion of a hatch belonging to the vessel. Looks like some kind of a fabric cooler, the fire extinguisher, miscellaneous clothing, another canvas type bag. There's a couple of Yeti type tumbler cups and a couple of Trulies and a Bud Light can.
Did you say Yeti type tumbler?
Yes.
Okay. May I publish that, Judge? Yes. And where were these recovered from?
They were either underneath the vessel or around the vessel.
We're going to look at some close-ups in a moment.
I wonder if all the empty bottles, alcohol bottles, I wonder if the defense can defend that with perhaps many boats come through here, many boats lose things. I wonder how they can tie it back to George.
You mentioned cell phones and glasses. I'm showing you what is marked States 60, 59, and 61. Are these the cell phone and glasses?
It would have been, these are the ones we recovered. I believe these were around the marker by Miami-Dade. If you see these images, we got these 8.
How can they bring in if he didn't collect them? How can they be brought into evidence through him?
So this is the stuff that we recovered from the vessel. This group of items would have been recovered by Miami-Dade divers around the marker.
So yeah, I'm getting ahead of you actually, Lieutenant, so let me slow down. So let's do 59 and 60 then. You're saying that these cell phones were cell phones recovered around or in the Pino boat,
Correct.
and that was recovered by FWC.
Correct.
Okay, may I publish that, Judge? I think there are 8. And so moving on to what I was getting ahead of you on, in states 61, 62, and 63, are these the cell phones that you said were provided to you by the Miami-Dade diving team and then you took custody of them?
That is correct. And in this image, you have, again, a tumbler type Yeti style stainless cup, 4 pairs of sunglasses. We've recovered a couple gold colored earrings and 3 cell phones.
Okay. May I publish them, Judge?
Yes.
How many cell phones? 3. So if 8 were recovered by him, by his team, and 3 by the other team, that's 11 phones. Is that how many people were on the boat? I believe so.
And these were by the marker, did you say?
Correct.
Were there also some IDs in one of the phones?
Several of the phones we were able to identify because they either had little pockets or between the phone and their cases, they had identifications on them.
Okay. Now I'm showing you what's in evidence as state 64 as well as state 65. What do these photos depict?
These photos depict pieces of fiberglass, pieces of the hull of the vessel damaged in the impact that were on the bay bottom. Again, recovered by Miami-Dade divers. You also have a portion of a day placard that was with a bolt that is what kept it on the bottom. Since the placard is made of wood, it would have floated away if it wasn't for that bolt.
We're going to go back to that. Before we go back to the marker with the bolt, where was this located? Was it around the boat itself?
I believe this was all around the marker.
Okay, the marker.
The marker, correct.
All right, may I publish that, Judge?
Yes.
Okay, so the piece of the green marker that's in this photo,
Was that a? Oh.
did you bring that with you to court today?
I did.
What are we doing?
I think that's their version of it. Part of this situation. Thank you. Lieutenant, I'm showing you what's now marked for identification as 4S. Can you please take a look at it? Can you first describe the packaging of this item of evidence?
So this is a clear packaging that was packaged at our office so that I could bring and have it labeled the recovered portion of the day marker, which would have been marker 15 from Cutter Bank.
So after recovery, where has this object been the entire time?
This once we got everything to the office and we were done processing the boat, getting evidence from the boat, all the items and everything were put into the boat and the boat was shrink wrapped.
Shrink wrapped?
Correct.
Oh,
Why
wow.
was the entire boat shrink wrapped?
To preserve the evidence as best as possible.
Now, today the
That's
boat wasn't
interesting.
shrink wrapped. When did the boat become unshrink wrapped or opened up?
I don't remember the exact date, but I believe the attorneys needed to go see it, wanted experts to look at the vessel and through the court processes, it was ordered to be removed. And at some point it was removed. And once you remove it, we can't put it back because that's something that has to be applied with heat. And once you take it off, very difficult, almost impossible to put back on.
You can't
So just to break
re-shrink
that
it?
down, are you saying that the state and the defense inspected the boat immediately after the shrink wrap was removed, and now the way the juror saw it is after the shrink wrap was removed?
Correct. I also saw it.
How long was it in the
Without any of the
elements?
items that were in it, we were asked to remove any items that were in the vessel, so they wouldn't have seen that.
And that could have been hazardous if they fell on.
Correct. And itchy and uncomfortable because it's fiberglass.
Your Honor, I would ask that 4S be admitted as evidence. Oh, sure, sir. I'm sorry for interrupting you. That's okay. I would be asking that this be admitted into evidence, Judge. Okay.
I wish we could.
Exhibit
oh,
4S,
they're gonna
warrant by
show us.
invocation will become state exhibit number 66.
Thank you. And if the witness could step down to help me.
Yes.
All right, Lieutenant, so I'm going to hand the marker to you. Can you sort of explain how it's made, what the bolt is, if you can do all that? Show the juror.
So what you're looking at is a portion of the dayboard on marker. It's a corner portion. You can see a straight edge here and a straight edge here. I don't know which corner, but it would have been a square.
I'm guessing the
green
number isn't
tells
on it.
the operators of the vessel what side of the channel you're on. In this particular case, you're on the east side of the channel. The green, they have numbers also, so that you know as you're looking at a GPS or a chart, what actual marker you're at. And that helps you identify which way you're going when the next marker is in sequence. If you miss a marker, you can deviate from the channel, run around, and cause damage to your vessel. Or your, so again, it's made out of plywood. It's got some kind of wrap or adhesive. It helps get this color. It's like a vinyl material, the best way to describe it. You see that there's a bolt here, and that is what actually kept it on the bottom, because it being wood, it would have floated away like the rest of the marker probably did, because once we got there, there was no day bolts. So the environment we work in is a dynamic environment. It's not like on land, when something lands, it's going to be there. On the water, it's very different, especially if it floats, either the current or the wind and the waves would take it away.
So the bolt's heavy enough to weigh it down.
Particular scenario, this rod, which is what holds, as I described before, we got a pipe like a telephone.
Yeah, there's no number
You
on
actually
it.
use the wood, the rod goes to the sides, holding one to the other and sandwiching, keeping them affixed to the pipe. Once the boards were broken, destroyed from the impact, obviously they came apart and wood floated away. Fortunately, the weight of the rod was overcame the buoyancy of the wood and kept it on the bottom near the marker where the average recovered.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You can see. May I publish it, Judge?
So that would have been probably recovered by maybe a day. Yeah, there's no number on that. Do we have any voters in the chat?
Now, did you bring another item of evidence with you to court today?
Yes, I did.
You said you did?
Yes, I did.
All right. Okay.
I have problems with the approach the board over there. Show the defense.
I'm showing the defense was marked for D4T. May I approach, Judge? Lieutenant, you mentioned that.
He didn't
before
show
you
the
do anything,
defense.
You mentioned that you brought another item of evidence with you here today. Is that what I'm showing you in states 4T for identification?
Yes, it is.
And similar to the piece of the channel marker, was this in the custody of FWC from the time of its recovery to today?
Yes, it is. It has been.
Where was it stored? Was it also stored in the vessel?
That is correct.
And then was it removed before the jury viewing?
That is correct.
Okay. And then the packaging here, it's plastic wrap. Did you do that for purposes of court?
Correct.
All right. So I'm going to ask that 4T please be admitted. Objection.
I really would like to know when the shrink wrap, because they said a while ago that the boat was shrink wrap with all this evidence in it. But they unwrapped the boat for the lawyers to take a look at it. So and the pieces were removed before the jury saw it. So in between the attorneys and the jury seeing it, it was out in the elements. Was all these pieces out in the elements as well?
State Exhibit 4T, marked identification, will become State Exhibit number 67.
Okay. With the court's
Well,
permission,
who knows? I don't know.
would the witness borrow some gloves and open up the exhibit to publish to the jury?
Yes.
All right. Madam Clerk, do you have a pair of gloves for us?
Oh, that's loud.
We'll rename it. Just hold on one second, because I want to get you first.
At least they put gloves on before they touch the evidence.
I'll bring you another glass for you.
Maybe. I guess they're looking for gloves now.
One moment.
So what's your thoughts on the evidence so far? Have y'all been convinced, beyond a reasonable doubt, that George was reckless so far? Now, granted, the state probably has way more
Move on, Judge.
go,
Come
but
back to this. So, Lieutenant, prior to court, we spoke about the dimensions of a channel marker.
That is correct.
Did you bring something to use a demonstrative aid to show the size of the channel marker?
Yes, I was able to determine the size of the day board or day marker.
I guess the Coast Guard told him what size. I'm not sure how. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. But maybe it's a demonstrative aid. Maybe they're not going to admit it.
And it was 3 feet by 3 feet.
All right, and so I can mark this even though it's just going to be a demonstrative.
That's how it's a demonstrative. Okay, so they're not putting this into evidence.
And just for the record, there's no writing on any of this. It's just the demonstrative. So, Lieutenant, I have both showing defense. I'm showing you for you as a demonstrative. Is this the size of the channel marker 15?
The day board, that would have been the size of each of the boards that goes on the pipe.
Okay, so
That's pretty
basically
big.
you're saying there'd be one board on one side and then one board on the other side?
That is correct.
Two.
That is correct.
And the size of each board is this.
Correct.
And this is put up so that voters can know where to go.
That identifies the channel and that aids the boaters in staying within the channel. And it's maintained by United States Coast Guard.
And is this in day glow green, the real one?
The real one would have some kind of reflective green to make it easier to identify at night in the darkness.
Okay. All right, so I think we have the gloves now. Are they gonna fit you though?
One size fits all.
Ms. Adams was
That's kind of
I
funny.
do it, but you were next to it. You're okay with it? Yes.
They're a bit thin. You might want to double them up if you're going to grab the fiber.
I'll just grab the fingertips.
And this is just since the plastic was a little bit, obstructing it, could you take the item out of the plastic and show the jurors? And for the record, it states 67. And just be careful because it's a private vessel.
Oh, that's part of the
Oh,
boat.
if you could show the front first and then the back.
All right, shred it?
Yeah.
So that is what would be the starboard side of the vessel. You can see part of the manufacturer that says Robalo, and it's the same color as the hull. And then this will be facing the inside, that typically wouldn't be exposed. All right, this is one of the many items that will be covered around the marker.
If you would mind to start. Yep. And while you're doing that, if we could just do the same thing with the piece of the channel marker, it states 16. I can show you. I am 66. I'll take this back from you. And
So
would you mind
Google
opening
search
up, say, 1660?
showed that it was 36 by 36 inch marker for that particular photo. Why is he taking his gloves off to handle this evidence?
The glove fell. So this happens with right, your hands were too big. Okay, and again, now it's out of the packaging, this is state 66. Actually, that's okay.
This is one board. You got the pipe behind it originally, and then you have another board making a sandwich. So one board faces north for the southbound loader, and then you put it on the other board.
Oh, sorry.
And the other
Went
side
to
faces
mute.
south for the northbound loader. As you were describing, you got it's like a vinyl material that's stuck onto the plywood, and this is reflective, especially it's very important at night. It's very difficult to see, and typically voters will use a light for QB to illuminate the next marker. That's what helps you go from marker to marker and stay in good water so you don't run around and stay in a safe area.
Okay. Good to see.
Man, you want your scissors back?
All right, so we've gone through the recovery of some evidence. We've gone through the underwater video. How does FWC, how do you get a big boat onto land after a crash like this?
And one of the first things we have to do is we have to have bids. We got a contract, a company that will salvage the boat and float it and tow it in safely. Typically CETO or Boat US are the ones that first come to mind. There are others, but we have to get bids as part of the process due to the cost of something like that. It's several $1,000s. I believe in this case it was $8,000 was the lowest bid. And they go out there, they are trained in resurfacing the vessel, towing it in and keeping it dewatered. And then they'll take it to the nearest boat ramp typically, and we'll be waiting with our patrol vehicles and an FWC trailer that's big enough to place the vessel onto it.
Were you present when the vessel was salvaged by the professional company?
I was not.
Who was present?
I'd have to look on the,
That's okay.
it would have been whatever officers were
Assigned.
assigned to watch the vessel the morning of what would have been the 6th.
All right. Do
So 2
you
days
document
later.
the exterior of the vessel with photographs after it was salvaged?
I believe the officers would have taken pictures during the process. I took pictures once it was removed from the water and onto the trailer.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification purposes as 2L, 2K.
So it was in the
and
water
2L.
for
I'm showing you the
upside down for 2 days before they recovered it. Sounds like.
Okay, so we have 2L to 2M, Lieutenant. I'm going to pass through them. Is this the vessel that was recovered by FWC and the professional contractor?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And is this last photograph a photo of the interior of the vessel?
Yes, it is.
And they fairly accurately depict what you saw when the vessel was salvaged?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that these items be admitted. No objection.
State Exhibit 2N, previously marked identification, will become State Exhibit number 68. 2K, 69. And 2L, 70.
Thank you. And actually, Lieutenant, before I publish these items of evidence to the jury, I just want to sort of ask you questions regarding your background and training. Have you ever received any specialized training in vessel crashes?
Yes.
Can you tell me about how you were able to get that specialized knowledge?
When we're officers, we typically try to go to NASBLA boating accident
Typically.
training.
So stop. NASBLA, what is that?
I believe it's National Association of State Boating Law Administrators. It's a group that focuses on safety and boating safety.
Now, when you actually attend, or how many hours of class did you attend for that?
There's 2 different classes. I've attended both the primary class, which is level 1, It's a 40-hour block, and then at a later time, you would attend level 2, which is another 40-hour block.
So a total of 80?
2 weeks.
Correct.
Okay. So during those 80 hours, what are you learning about?
You're learning about how to investigate boating accidents, how to look at evidence, different types of evidence, looking at the damage on the vessels to try to determine how the accident happened. With technology, we can look at GPSs, telephones, looking at anything that has evidentiary value that can assist in bringing the picture together as to what occurred, whether it's a multiple vessel accident or in this case, a vessel and a marker. You're looking at the evidence that you have before you to make that determination. Sometimes you're fortunate and you have electronics like GPS or phones that you can download, and we've learned over the years to use that to be able to get additional evidence to help us hone in on what happened. They'll provide times, coordinates, different things that can assist the investigation. In some cases, you do not have electronics. Not every boater is required to have a phone or a GPS. So you might have an accident where there is no
Let me
electronics.
stop you real quick, because I want to focus more on, is there a way that you can look at the damage to a vessel and understand how the vessel was impacted by another body, be it a stationary object or another vessel? Can you talk about something more like that?
Yeah, we would look at.
Can we go sidebar?
Okay, so we're going to zoom past the sidebar, or at least try to. Oh, are they letting the jury out? Huh. I'm surprised the defendant doesn't go up. I mean, some cases they do. I would go up if I was the defendant, if I was allowed to. Can't hear the judge.
So we need to take a very brief, this is just a brief break, it's not our coffee break yet. Okay. Brief break. Are there enough chairs in the jury room?
Yes, unless someone moving. Let me count real quick.
I want to make sure if the jury steps into the jury room. Ladies and gentlemen, you can now take at your seats if you would. Just step into the jury room, this will take a minute.
All right.
Alright, so we'll see what there's an objection, a sidebar. They're letting the jury go for just a minute, as the judge said. So I guess they didn't discuss that in open court.
You can all be seated. So please refrain from using phrases like scientific phrases for force or speed, or anything that would imply that you're testifying in an expert type of capacity.
Okay, so he's not been an expert.
You understand from your testimony what information you have. But listen carefully to also counsel's questions, just refrain from using any type of technical language in your testimony.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I think, did you say physics as well?
Yes, physics, anything, the physics of it, the force, all this terminology, more scientific type terminology that would come from someone from that training path, would come from someone with different types of training in physics and expertise over the science. Okay.
Understood, Your Honor.
We'll just follow up the question.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that he's not an expert in accident reconstruction, physics, things like that. So he's got to watch his terminology and how he explains things, because he's not an expert at these things. I have a big glare on my screen. Let's see if I can.
You were going to see it. All right, that's the thing with your door.
Yes, Judge, thank you. Lieutenant, I was asking you some questions regarding some specialized training that you have. Um, Really what I'm trying to ask is how a vessel behaves differently than an automobile when it strikes an object. Can you talk about,
How would he know an
can you
automobile?
talk about when a vessel is in a crash, how it behaves?
Objection.
That's physics.
Take out that question, answer.
But hold on one second, Judge.
I guess he's getting help from the other prosecution.
Okay. Lieutenant, when we were at the jury view of the vote, was there different types of damage to the vessel?
Yes.
All right. Can you describe different types of damage to a vessel that you would see?
Objection, Judge.
That's not related.
To the vessel in question? Okay. Yep. I think what we're going to do, Lieutenant, just to move past this, is go to the vessel itself, okay?
Yes, sir.
So this is already in evidence. And let's start with states 69, okay? Okay. Yeah.
That's all.
Well, I'm going to show you this right now. May the witness step off the witness stand?
Yes.
So, Lieutenant, the jury has seen this vessel. Can you sort of describe that?
Wish they wouldn't
damage
use
to
that
the
glossy
vessel
finish so
and what
that
it is?
there wouldn't be a glare on it.
And you need a bigger photo?
Do you have one?
Yeah. From the inside.
This is a damage consistent with having struck a mark. I think I can keep it. The judge's instruction.
Question, please.
And what, can you describe the actual damage to the vessel, the body of the vessel?
Yeah, so you're gonna see damage, begins at about this point. It's hard to tell in this image. If you have something that more zoomed in.
Okay, let me get you more zoomed in. Have a seat.
Prosecution's struggling. I'm not sure this part's going very well for them.
Madam Clerk, can you mark this for me, please? I'm showing the defense was now marked as 4V. You had asked for a close-up of what I was showing you, 4V. Is this a close-up of the damage to the vessel?
That is from the stern.
All right, would this aid you in explaining the extent of the damage to the jurors?
It will help. Do we have one from the bow? Or the initial impact?
Wow. This is not going well.
Yes.
Gosh, my back is killing me today.
So I'm adding to what I'm showing you 4W and 4X. This helps you explain it better.
Can they get it with these exhibits now? Or yeah.
May I have research? So this is 4V, 4W, and 4.
With the witness being instructed not to use technical terms because he's not an expert in accident reconstruction, the prosecution has been knocked off their game, their vibe. Um, so they're having a really hard time getting the information that, for instance, like the boat striking that marker pole, and what the damage looks like. So um, we'll see how they handle it.
X for identification. Will these photos assist you in explaining to the jury?
Yes,
All right. And so, do you remember at the viewing, Lieutenant Thompson pointed out two parts of the vessel to the
Yes.
jury?
yes,
Okay. And so those parts of the vessel, are they depicted in 4W and 4X?
yes, they are.
All right. And are these two separate locations, one towards the front and one towards the middle?
That is correct.
Okay. I'd ask that all three of these photos be admitted, Judge. Okay.
State Exhibit 4B, previously marked by identification, will become State Exhibit number 71, 4X, 72, and 4W, 73.
Thank you, Judge. And now may the lieutenant step down to help. Okay, so Lieutenant, you asked for a photo that was closer to the front of the ship. Is that what I'm showing you here, State 73?
Yes.
All right, can you use this exhibit to show the jurors what you wanted to show them about the impact?
So what you can see on this image of the vessel, you can see a portion of green here, which that's where that vessel made contact with the day one. And that's transferred, which you can be seen here. And that is the initial impact point. This is one of the furthest forward portions of damage on the vessel. And you've got transfer from the day one, which would have been the green marker.
All right, and now midship, State 72, does that also show transfer of it?
Yes, it does.
And can you sort of point to it for
You
the
can see
jury?
there's green transfer here, and then that tells us that also made contact with the day board, leaving a marker.
So does that mean that the vessel upon impact would have obviously reached the day board marker to make that color?
That is correct.
All right. And then lastly, going to the full ship photo, photo 71, can you sort of explain what we see in the damaged part of the vessel? What is the breaks in the
I
vessel?
keep tilting my head like I'm going to be able to
The
see
damage
around.
you see is damage in the
Does anybody
system,
else do that?
the piping making impact, or the vessel making impact with the piping.
Like,
And that's why you're missing
peekaboo, you know,
sections of the vessel.
not that it helps.
And it's actually pushed in. It's very difficult to see the vessel from the impact.
So are you saying that the
I showed
piling
pictures
struck the
earlier.
body of the vessel and then the marker scraped along the top?
No. So the vessel struck the piping.
Right.
Is the first thing. As the vessel's going by, it hits at the front where it transfers. Remember, the dayboard is on the top, the very top of the piping, so it's very high. The higher portion of the vessel, and the furthest out from the vessel would have been near the bow on the starboard side. That contacted the dayboard. As that is getting crushed in, and it's leaving a mark due to contact, then the vessel impacts the actual piping, crushing the side of it. And remember, the vessel tendency would also be to lean because of the impact with the marker at the same time, exposing the underside to getting crushed by its force against the steel pipe.
Yes.
Steve, just bring it, just bring it from the beach, or
I mean, it's obvious that he hit the pole. From that damage, it's obvious that he hit the marker.
So if you were to be in a boat and bump into a buoy, what direction would the vessel go towards? Direction. You could answer, Lieutenant. Thank you for being here.
Okay. If you clarify it a little bit more, a buoy is not fixed, so it's gonna have to depend on the current and where the vessel, what direction the vessel's, and what
So
side of the vessel's.
Let's just use this as an example. If a vessel hits a stationary object, what direction would you expect the vessel to go?
It's gonna, how do I answer it?
He doesn't know.
And again, looking at what happened here, if the front starboard side impacts the stationary object, where would you expect the vessel to go?
The vessel's gonna start to heel over as the collision is happening, and the damage is wanting to slow the vessel, and the vessel's forward motion wants to keep going. Therefore, it's crushing what's making contact from the vessel,
That's probably how it
fiberglass,
flipped.
with the steel piling in this case.
Okay. Thank you, Lieutenant. I know that took a minute to get through, but thank you. I appreciate your patience. So let me ask you, earlier you had mentioned GPS, okay? Did you recover the GPS in this case?
The GPSs were documented. There was 2 of them on the vessel. I believe the brand is Simrad. They were documented when we dove the vessel. Ultimately, they were removed once the vessel was brought to shore, and I was the one who removed them.
And Simrad, what is Simrad?
Simrad is a brand, just like saying Garmin or Apple or some other make of the product.
Prior to removing the Simrad GPS from the vessel itself, do you document it?
Yes.
Photographs?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm showing you what's marked for identification, 3S through 4H. And before I do that, let me just show the defense. May I approach?
Yes.
All right, so Lieutenant, I'm gonna flip through the photos again the way I have been. Yeah. And when I'm finished, I'm gonna ask you if they fairly accurately depict the devices that you saw on the boat and whether or not you in fact recovered them. Do they fairly accurately depict that?
Yes, I do.
Because I've asked that these items be admitted into evidence. No objection.
State Exhibit 3S, marked by identification, will become State Exhibit number 74. 3T, 75. 3U, 76. 3B, 77. 3W, 78. 3X, 79.
At least this part goes by
3Y,
quickly.
80. 3Z, 81. 4A, 82. 4B, 83. 4C, 84. 4D, 85. 4E, 86. 4F, 87. 4G, 88, and 4H, 89.
Thank you. Can the lieutenant step down, Judge? No, publish.
So, after these photographs, how much longer?
Not much longer. So, Lieutenant, can you describe what's depicted in State 74 and show the group?
This is the console of the vessel after it had been pulled out of the water. Out of the water, it's not traded. It was pulled out at Homestead Bayfront Park, which is a public boat ramp. Adjacent to that boat ramp is Biscayne National Park headquarters. The boat is taken there because it's a law enforcement facility. That way the public doesn't have access to it, and we can securely take pictures, document the vessel. And this is a picture of the console of the vessel on the trailer. We can see the 2 Simrad GPS units right here. Where I'm pointing to.
And actually,
The middle screens.
it's okay with that because I'm going to show you close-ups of the screens in a second. 76 and 75. What are these screens used for?
For navigation, those are GPSs, global positioning systems, and they'll have charts on them, which is an aid to the operator to navigate safely.
And there are 2 screens.
There's 2 screens in this particular vessel.
How about in stage 77? What is this?
That is, I discussed that before, that was a panel where the battery switches are that have been dislodged and held in place by the cables in the wire. And dislodged by the impact.
Now, the actual devices themselves, were they behind like a bolted compartment?
So to remove them, you have to access the back side of them. So if you're looking at the console, the screens are in front of you. You would have to go to the front of the console, open the door, and get to what would be the back of the screens. And there's a panel that needs to be removed so you can access the back of each of the screens.
And is that what I'm showing you in state 79?
That is a picture of the board. So boat manufacturers are not going to want all those wiring exposed, so they put this panel to make it look clean and sharp. So I had to remove that panel to have access to the back of the GPS to be able to use it.
And so when you remove the panel, is that what's depicted in state 80?
That is, once the panel is removed, that's what you're looking at the back side of the console, looking from the front of the vessel towards the back inside the console.
Now, actually just going back quickly to state 80, are there 2 separate devices or what is that?
That's the back of both of the units. You see it's a computer port side, and it's indicated whoever wired it wanted to keep things organized, and there was red tape on the wiring. And then this is your starboard, which has green tape on it, and that's typically because vessels on the port side, which is your left, and behind the wheel, is your red light. On your right side, which is your starboard, that has a green light. So if you just say right and left, it can get confusing depending on how you're looking at the vessel. Where when you say port or starboard, it doesn't matter how you look at the vessel, you're clear on what side you're referring to.
And does that match the color of the markers as well, red and green?
That is correct. Red and green, they tell you what side of the marker you're supposed to be on, depending on the channel.
So I'm looking at 81 and 82. Are these just close-ups of the red and green?
That is correct. So this would be your port unit. So if you're looking at the back of the console, it would be like this. This will be your left port because of the red. Green is your starboard side. That's how you can tell without being physically on the vessel.
And then finally, were there some photos that you took that showed the serial numbers on the GPS?
Yes, each unit has a serial number. So part of the process, when
This
you
part
document
is
is
boring.
document the serial numbers. And you can see in this image, this is the port because it's got red tape.
And we don't have any
Power
bed
cables.
chatting, so
And on the cables
we're
themselves,
just
and then you can see here it says
watching
SN, and
this.
it's got a serial number ending in 787. So this is your port unit. You need further clarification. So that's the one, if you're standing behind the steering wheel, to the port side.
And now this one,
That's it.
this one I'm showing you, ending in 796. Do you see the beginning of the green cable there?
Yes, it is.
And what does that mean again?
So, again, this is the opposite unit. The green is your starboard. And there's two pictures because this one came out a little blurry. So I had to take a close-up of it. And you can see this one ends in, it says SN serial number, has a connecting number, but it ends in
Oh,
796.
serial numbers.
And again, in this image, you can see the power cable or the accessory cable, and it's got green tape on it. So to me zooming in, we have a clear explanation.
Well, after this, we're gonna look at the other item that I brought with you.
He probably brought the GPS box. I know he set stuff down on the floor.
Okay. So Lieutenant, did you bring these devices with you to court?
I did.
And are they in this big box over here?
Yes, they are.
So I wonder where he sat down here. Maybe his reports and stuff.
I'm showing you that's what's marked for identification for Y. May I approach it? So unless anything has changed, Lieutenant, these are the devices that you brought with you?
That is correct.
All right, and you see, I guess there's a property label on these?
That is correct. One of the two has a tag attached because they were both the same item number. This is our evidence tag. It says quantity. It's item number 28 for us in our evidence system. And it's two SIMRAD units with the serial numbers on there. Would you like for me to read them
No,
out?
it's okay. I asked that these items be admitted.
Set Exhibit 2Y composites, marked for identification. Become State Exhibit number 90 composites.
90?
Composite.
Composite. All right, Lieutenant, with the court's permission, would you mind stepping down and showing the jurors these devices? Okay.
What did she say?
If you can just go one at a time.
This is going to be one of the two semi GPS units. You look back here, you can see a power cable. We remove that because part of the process to try to get the units fired up to extract data from. This is what I was referring to when they installed it. This would is a port GPS unit, and this would have been a port cable when they wired it. So that's an easy way for us to identify. That's why I left it on. And then through here, you can see it's really small. That is the serial number that I read before. The serial number is a serial sticker. You can see it here. And you can have different serial numbers obviously, because the manufacturer wants to keep track of the product and know for warranty purposes. That's it.
You can do the same thing with the second one.
So this will be the starboard unit, which is the one behind the helm to the right. Again, this one got a ring tape on it, that made it easier for us to identify. And then it's got a label down here, the serial number as well. So, closer to it?
No, it's okay.
That's all I kind of want to see it, but
They'll be able to look at it.
so these are the two units that were on the vessel when we did the vessel. This one.
Huh. It's interesting. One day, maybe we'll have a boat. Not expensive ones.
Break? Did you want to take a free break? I'm pretty close. Maybe 5-10 minutes.
I'm gonna take a break.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break now. Please put your notepads in the envelopes.
Alright, so it's court break. It doesn't look like they put anything
Please don't discuss
on
the
the
case.
record.
We're
We're gonna zoom past this.
All rise.
Court should be done with today, so we're just going to finish this up. Looks like we got about an hour and a half left.
It would be.
Okay. So, what are y'all thoughts? What do you think so far? Okay. Waiting for them to turn the court volume back up. I'm still not convinced. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many more witnesses they have um left. I don't know. How long is this trial scheduled for? Let's see. How long? Let's see. Pino case scheduled.
Thank you, everyone, see you
Thank you, Judge. Lieutenant, I have just maybe one or two more questions for you, and then I'll turn it over to the defense. The
It doesn't say,
GPS
and I'm
SIM
afraid
devices that
that
you brought here to court, had you, and I think you maybe briefly mentioned this, had you installed them?
I couldn't find how long it's slated for. Like how many days they think that it will be, because I don't want to click on any links because I don't want anything spoiled. So we'll just keep watching.
On the vessel for purposes of today's jury viewing?
I believe Lieutenant McDonald just placed them on there, and they weren't installed. They were just placed in the holes where they were removed from.
Okay,
They weren't
so-
bolted on or anything like that.
All right, so they were in the position as where they would be on the day of the crash.
Correct.
Okay, to make it as real as possible for the jury.
Correct.
All right. Lieutenant, I have no additional questions for you. The defense may have some. Thank you.
Let's see how many holes the defense can poke.
Good afternoon.
I think there's some there.
So when you talk about a day marker, are you referring to the green part that you showed the piece of before?
There's day markers, day boards, it's all common talk for us.
But, so that would be. Can I see? So that's, States Exhibit 66, just the sign, right?
Correct,
So the day marker is just the sign.
correct. The channel marker will be the piling with the whole sign.
And when you refer to the piling, is that the whole pole down all the way to the floor?
Correct, it's a steel pipe.
Okay. So the
Does anybody know,
top
is
of
it
the day
steel?
marker, is that flush with the top of the piling?
I
No.
couldn't tell you on this particular incident because it was gone.
Okay, so channel marker 15 on September 4th, 2022, you don't know if the day marker or the top of that was flush with the top of the pipe?
I couldn't tell you that.
Can I see States Exhibit 36? Oh, sorry. 36. It's a picture, yeah. I think it's in it. Not get this out of order. 36. So can I post this? So Lieutenant, this is States Exhibit 36.
I'm glad to see he's
that
got a
was
notebook
put
with
into evidence on your
questions.
direct. Do you recognize what that is?
Yes, I do.
Is that the channel marker 15, a day after this incident?
Yes, it is.
Okay. If I were to pass you this Post-it here with a 15 on it, would you be able to tell me where that was located on that steel pole?
I would guesstimate right about here. It might be a little lower or higher, but I would guesstimate here based on the rectangle that I referred to before where there was no bird droppings,
Okay, can you just place that on there?
something like that.
So is that flush with the top of the pole there, or is that above it?
It's hard for me to know exactly where it would be. I never saw it. But based on the area where there's no bird droppings, it had to have at least been down that far.
Down that far, okay. Can the witness step down? Yeah, sure. So, can you publish that?
So I found on Google the picture, and we looked at this earlier, of the marker. So it looks like it goes over the top. Well, let me share that real quick. Hang on just a second. This is what Google, oh, wrong button. This is what Google showed um showed the picture to be. And it doesn't look, it looks like it goes up over the pole. Now, I don't know if this is an accurate picture or not because, Google, but that's what they're looking at right now. Where did my feet go? There it is. Okay. We'll put this back on the screen and keep watching.
This line here on the bottom, you see that? The line there. You know what that is?
That could be the growth line because the tide goes up and down. So that's probably a high tide marker, I would guess, for the growth. Is it going to go any higher because the water doesn't go any higher?
So this growth mark, is that called particles?
Particles, and that could be algae, it could be different.
Yeah. And what is high tide versus low tide? What does that mean?
Every 6 hours and a little bit, there's a tide fluctuation. The water goes up and down due to the positioning of the moon and the earth. The water can come up and it goes down depending on what time of day. It's typically 6 hours and change. I don't remember the exact time.
Okay, so this picture with that line exposed, a growth line, that would be a picture of low tide, correct?
The growth would be, I would assume it's high tide because that's the highest point the water can grow.
Let me rephrase. Where the growth is exposed and you can see it, would that be low tide or high tide?
I would say high tide.
That would be high tide. So the water would not go above that line?
It can go above that line on certain times of the year where we have things that are called king tides, where the moon's closer and it may go, but normally a high tide would not go there because then you would have algae growing.
I think the defense is trying to ask whether or not that picture was taken at high tide or low tide. I think is what the defense is trying to get at.
Or barnacles growing at whatever the highest point the tide typically gets to, if that makes any sense. But there are fluctuations where it could be higher and it could be lower than normal.
Okay, and did you know the distance on channel marker 15 on September 4th, 2022? The distance from the water line to the bottom of the day marker, the sign on the top at the time of this accident?
No, I don't believe I could measure.
Okay, is that something you could measure?
You could measure to the bottom of the markings. I'm not aware of that measurement.
Okay.
So it sounds like they didn't measure from the water to where the marker would have been.
Next marker in the channel to the north that is green, do you know which marker that is?
Believe it. If there's no lettering, it should be 13. Sometimes there are other, like let's say a 15B or a 13B. So I believe it was 13, but I'd have to look at a navigation chart to be exact.
Okay. You're not familiar with Cutter Bank Channel's markers?
Yes.
Oh, you are. So in Cutter Bank Channel, you don't know off the top of your head if there's another marker. Okay.
I know there's markers. There's more markers. Yes, there are. I couldn't tell you. The number sequence isn't always in order, if that makes sense.
No, I understand. So considering you don't know the next marker, you wouldn't know the height difference between, say, 13 or 13A and 15. You wouldn't know the height differences there.
No, sir.
Is that something that could be measured?
It could be measured, but there are differences between markers. I was out there probably not this Saturday, the Saturday before, and I can tell you the piling for marker 15 is lower than the others.
So it's shorter, when you say
yes.
Lower. So closer to the water?
Correct.
So it didn't stick out as far as the other markers do.
Moment, Josh.
Yeah.
Isn't it true that channel marker 15 is actually 4 feet shorter than 13A?
I do not know that.
Is that something that you can measure?
Since he didn't measure.
I can measure it.
That's an answer.
Thank you.
Just very briefly. Lieutenant, are the markers designed to be seen by boaters regardless of being low tide or high tide?
Yes, they are.
Would it make any sense for them to design markers that would be filled up by tides? Would that make any sense if it's designed to be seen?
You mean the dayboard?
Yeah.
That they end up underwater?
Right, would that make any sense?
No.
Would that be contradictory to the whole purpose of having these markers?
Okay, but if marker 15 is shorter than 13, I think is what he said, then by 4 feet, that's quite a bit of a difference when you're seeing up over the boat.
Correct. The purpose is
I
for
guess.
boaters to see them from a distance so they can plan their route and stay within the channel.
So I'm going to show you what's in evidence at States 22. Lieutenant, this is already in evidence at States 22. The Coast Guard, did they repair marker 15 and put a new dayboard on top?
I believe they did.
And is that the date up top, September 6, 2022?
I believe so. Not 100% because I hadn't been out on that day. I wasn't there.
Okay,
But just to my understanding that they did replace it, yes.
the Coast Guard didn't leave this piling without a dayboard?
Correct. Correct. Once they were notified, they made arrangements, and shortly after the accident, they
Okay.
replaced it.
And does the dayboard get repaired essentially immediately?
I would assume they make a whole new dayboard because there was no dayboard left.
Okay.
So they would have put 2 new boards.
Okay. May I just republish this, Judge?
Okay, I think that's the picture we were looking at from Google. Oh, that's fairly
Thank
short.
you,
Wait, hang
Lieutenant.
on.
I just
See if I can go back a little.
Judge, briefly cross.
Okay, hang on. Look at the like the water versus the height of the marker. Huh.
All right, thank you, Lieutenant. I have 3 questions for you. Judge, briefly cross.
So the
I'm sorry,
defense
one
does
last
not
question.
get to do.
Just one
He
more
thought he
question.
just missed him. What the hell?
When you were out there, did you have any difficulty seeing the date boards on the channel markers at all?
When we were out there diving?
Yeah, the ones that hadn't been destroyed, were you able to see them?
Of course, yes.
Thank you.
But they're 4 feet higher.
Thank you.
Detective Ben Val?
So another detective, I wonder if he's with Miami-Dade or if he's another Fish and Wildlife.
Based on this from testimony about the vehicle being truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
That's all we got.
You may have it.
Yeah, he's with Miami-Dade.
Good afternoon, Donna.
Oh, that's loud.
Absolutely.
Good afternoon. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Good afternoon. My name is Detective Bengal Dow.
Where do you work?
I work for Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, Crime Scene Investigations.
What do you do as a crime scene detective?
Besides handling crime scenes, I do all manner of documentation of crime scenes, evidence collection, preservation, impounding. I do.
You rolled your eyes when you said impounding. What is that and why did you roll your eyes?
That's a large portion. That's a large portion of our job responsibilities is impounding evidence to make sure that they can get into the lab and finish getting processed and whatnot.
Does that also include photography?
It does. That's part of the documentation process. I do drones. I do 3D imaging, blood spatter. I do all manner of crime scene. I've been there a little while.
How long have you been a crime scene investigator?
I'll be 20 years this October.
Before going to the crime scene unit of the sheriff's office, or formerly the Miami-Dade Police Department, where were you assigned?
Before that, I was in Uniform Patrol,
Robot.
Northside District as an FTO.
And what's that now?
I'm sorry, field training officer. Taught the new guys coming out of the academy and took the information that they learned in the academy and applied it to real world situations.
What was it that made you decide to go into the crime scene unit?
Well, at the time, I really didn't know I wanted to go into crime scene. It was suggested by one of my coworkers. He thought that I'd be good at it. I was very interested in crime scene and the science aspect of it. So I went ahead and interviewed. I had an opportunity to interview. I interviewed, was selected, and here we are 20 years later.
As an investigator with Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, are you sometimes requested to assist other law enforcement agencies with their cases?
Yes, quite frequently.
Were you asked last year to assist the state attorney's office and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission with a pending case?
Yes, I was.
What were you asked to do?
Documentation of a reenactment involving vessel homicide.
Did you have any involvement in the initial investigation back in September of 2022?
No, this was my first and only involvement in this case.
Okay. Did you and your agency, in fact, assist with that request?
I did.
Okay. Do you have a pilot's license to operate a drone?
I do. I have what's referred to as an FAA Part.
So my understanding is this was his first crime vessel homicide case.
107. Oh, I'm sorry. FAA Part 107 pilot's license.
How did you get that? Like, what do you have to do to get that kind of a license?
Well, we ended up studying quite a bit. There was some training that we took as well to prepare.
How many hours?
We
2
sit for
weeks?
this test with an FAA certified testing site, which I passed, and that allowed us to begin our drone program. I'm one of the founders for the drone program for Miami-Dade.
One of the
Founders.
Okay.
We started the program.
How many other pilots of drones are there within the department?
Well, now we have quite a few, but in our unit specifically, we have 6.
Now, this reenactment that took place, do you remember what day it was?
It was June 9th of 2025. It was a Monday.
Okay. So like 1 year and 2 days ago, basically.
Yes.
Holy cow!
Where did
So
that reenactment occur?
a ways away
Cutler
from
Bank.
the actual.
It's a body of water over by just south of Turkey Point. It's a power plant.
Detective, with the court's permission, would you please step down for a moment?
Sure.
I have this little pointer here, and for the record, I'm showing you State's Exhibit number 2, which is an evidence. Do you see the location of?
Sorry,
Cutler
I'll
Bank
put my
on
desk in
this?
standing mode.
passes. Is- no.
I'll figure out how it works.
I have my glasses on,
My
and there's a
colors.
little one here that says something like
Oh, I see.
Riverbank Shallows.
Oh,
Is that
the
the right
stickers?
place?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay. Do you see where the approximate location of where Turkey Point would be?
Yeah, Turkey Point, this is the cooling, large cooling, canals.
Angle yourself just so
Oh,
everybody can see.
the cooling, this is for the cooling of the actual, Turkey Point and this Turkey Point.
Okay, thanks. And let me ask you, where were you during this reenactment?
We decided to stay off to the side here, and we launched and retrieved the drone from the vessel.
Okay, can you just point again where you were? Okay, thanks.
This is my first time using the standing portion of my desk. We'll see how it goes.
Before I ask you more questions about that reenactment, are you yourself a boater, a person who likes to go out on boats?
I am.
Where'd you grow up?
Now my
I grew up in
family's
Maine.
probably
And
blowing
what does
in.
your family members do?
They're all commercial fishermen,
So growing up, how often were you on a boat?
all the time.
Since leaving Maine for Miami, have you been on boats?
Yes, I've owned boats and family members own boats, and I help use their boats and all that.
Are you familiar with how channel markers are designed to assist with safe boating?
Yes.
Can you explain?
Channel markers use a red and white marker system, and that helps with navigation.
Red and white?
on
I thought it
open
was red and
waterways
green.
as well as estuaries and rivers. So basically the big rule of thumb is red, right, return. So when you're returning to port, you want to have the red marker to your right side, and those markers, regardless of where you're at on the water, you always know which way to go because of the way the marker system is, as far as what side you should be on, so people don't get confused even at night.
So if a channel goes more north and south than east and west,
Mhm.
what side would the green markers be on versus the red markers?
The green markers are on the side of the channel that is where the United States is, where the land is. Not necessarily where an island is or what have you, but it's there. Unless it's in a river, and the river then it's upstream. So that same rule applies, but it's an upstream rule. So if you're going against the stream, the red markers are on the right.
Can you explain to the jurors?
Any of y'all that are watching,
Reenact?
are y'all boaters? Do y'all have experience with boats? I do not, so I do not know the boat stuff. Let me know in the comments if you have boating experience.
The vessel crash that happened on September the 4th of 2022. Was that like with an eye toward what we're doing right now in trial?
Well, we definitely we want to be able to graphically show what occurred to the best of our ability, right? So
why
when we
was
start,
this
not
not
everybody's
done?
familiar with the waterways.
This was done a year and a half ago. So in 2025, I think he said it was the reconstruction was done in 2025. The accident happened in 2022. Why did they wait so long to do that?
Everybody's familiar with how boats work and speed and the different dynamics of boating. So we want to be able to show that, right? We want to be able to document that to the best of our ability and as close and as proximate as we can.
Without jeopardizing the safety of a jury?
Yeah, no, we definitely don't want to do it with the jury.
Having, I imagine, traveled in automobiles and traveled on boats, how does 40 miles per hour feel on a boat versus in a car?
When we're talking about speed on a boat, speed on a boat is more significant than it is in like an automobile. We're all used to traveling at speed, right? If we're thinking of a 40-mile-an-hour zone, we're thinking, that's like Kendall Drive.
Well, the
it's that
officer
kind of speed.
yesterday was
However,
going
on a boat,
47,
you're going
so
through an item that's
without
1,000
an
times thicker
emergency.
than the open air, and it takes a lot more energy to get up to that speed, to get going, and it's obviously much more difficult to do it, and you're exposed. You're exposed in a boat the whole time. There's no seat belts or nothing like that. So,
Is that different than a
Can you please talk a
motorcycle?
little bit about what safety measures were taken into consideration prior to actually engaging in this reenactment?
the first things we started to
Objection, Your Honor. 401, 403.
Okay, so we're going to go inside more. Well, 401 and 403, I think, is more prejudicial than probative. 401 at rule of evidence. Okay, yeah. So, um, 401 interacts with Rule 403, which allows the judge to exclude otherwise relevant evidence if it's prejudicial or a waste of time. Examples. Let's see. Um, the evidence must have any tendency to prove or disprove a fact as a probative value. Uh, okay, so we'll see what the judge says. Oh, I was playing. Let's see. How long is this sidebar? Let's move it up just a little bit more. Maybe. Uh,
Thank you. Detective, can you describe the process and the steps that were taken prior to actually going out there and doing this recreation?
Yeah, well, first we had to outline what the mission was going to be. So we did a bunch of phone calls and meetings with FWC and the state attorney's office to figure out the scope and the best way to proceed. Since this was our first time doing a water launch or a vessel launch with the drone, we met up with our Marine Patrol to take a look at their boat to make sure that we had a boat that was available that would suit our needs. Then we ended up contacting the actual manufacturer of the drone, which is Skydeal, to make sure that we're going to be using the drone actually in a way that it was designed. I actually don't want to be operating outside of the limits of the drone, which it is designed for this, so it worked out quite well. We established parameters for safety, so we identified what's referred to as a visual observer, which happened to be Sergeant Kopp, which is my sergeant. A visual observer is defined by the FAA as a person of safety. Their sole purpose is to not only keep an eye on the drone, but the actual environment that we're in to make sure that we're operating safely, right? And that there aren't people or vessels or airplanes or helicopters that are going to be in the way, as well as other obstructions. We identified safety vessels, closed down so that we could close down the channel. Things of those kind of operational things to make sure that we can run a smooth aerial operation.
The vessels that were actually used for this recreation, were they police boats?
They were FWC boats that did the actual closing down of the channel, and then we were launching from an MDSO or Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office vessel.
Are those boats equipped with
so
emergency
they
lights?
hit the
Yes,
pole.
emergency lights and sirens and radios.
Were the emergency lights on during this?
Yeah, during the whole time, yes.
Had you, and I think you said this was the first time that you had launched a drone from a vessel.
Yes.
Where would you usually do it?
Normally we do it from land. We use our drones not solely, but mostly for scene documentation is their primary role. We do other things with them, but our main function is to take aerial photography of every police involved shooting and every homicide that we attend.
About how big is this drone?
It's 2 feet across. It weighs a little over 5 pounds.
Can you show it with your hands?
It's about like this. When it's unfolded, it folds up, but it's about that big. It comes in a big case. It can travel up to 45 miles an hour. It has a 41 megapixel camera, 2K video. 41 megapixel camera, a 2K video camera, as well as a 16-degree thermal imager.
Did you have any concerns about potentially losing the drone?
Well, I mean, it's always a concern. We're going to make sure that we're operating safely, right? We don't want to be we don't want to be doing something with a piece of equipment and being poor stewards of taxpayer dollars. Sheriff would not appreciate that. So we want to make sure that, that we're not, that we're doing everything within our ability. The drone itself is a very, very high-tech piece of gear. It has onboard AI. It has 6 additional other cameras. So it was definitely operating well within its ability.
In order to try to guard against the potential of the drone falling into the bay, did you and your sergeant kind of practice catching the drone?
Yes, on land we did several, we'll call them hand launches. Like I said, we don't typically do hand launches mainly because you don't need to. Nobody, I mean, it's got spinning blades. It is a little unnerving. It's safe to do, but it is unnerving that you're holding this big object with these big blades moving so fast. But it is designed for that, so it is something to do. So normally we just launch it from the ground. We set it on the ground. It takes off on its own. It actually picks up off the ground, goes about 8 feet in the air. It does a 360 as it scans the area to start the AI. That does the AI does it uses the 6 cameras for crash avoidance. So it is constantly analyzing the surrounding environment.
Okay, so now let's talk about this actual reenactment. Can you describe for the jurors how did that happen?
So once we all got onto the site and we got the channel blocked off and we're pretty much ready to go. We did a couple of trial runs so that we could sit there and make sure that we're all in agreement with what we're doing, how we're going to do it, and we're going to proceed from there. So at that time, we launched the drone, and part of our documentation process, whether I'm doing a crime scene or whether I'm doing a reenactment, the documentation process